was in tune. I was in tune when I started here. When I was doing sound check, I was perfectly in tune. Oh, anyway, be that as it may, hello everybody, welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar, and they call me on the phone sometimes anyway. And they say, hey man, what's your show about? I say, well, it's about an hour, about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So, you know, we have a phone. We don't put the number up that often. There it is anymore. Very few people call. But you could call if you want. But anyway, this is a show about guitars and guitar playing and all things guitaristic, as I say. So you want to ask a question about the care and feeding of your guitar. What kind of guitar is right for you? Something else like the guitarrón, the guitarra, sitars, lutes, uds, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bajos, sexteos, and bandurias, and bandolims, and mandolins. Cavaquinhos, tiples, harmoniums, harmonicas. Pardon me, I'm stretching my strings. Ew. I brought a tuner along. I'm not proud of it. I'm losing focus. It's a show about guitar players and guitar playing and other related instruments: trombones, tromboninas, clarinets, clavinets, saxophones, sack butts, drum horns, chord holds, pipe organs, and piccolos, accordions, ocarinas. I might have said that already. I'm sorry. I've been saying this for years. Anything worth playing is worth playing in tune. And I just put new strings on this guitar. And these are these D'Addario NY something. I forget. They're supposed to be their best strings. Sounds pretty good. Okay. So anyway, politics, world events, your own personality problems, we're here for you on Tom's Guitar Show, but just keep it clean. This is a family show. And more about family later. But first, see if I can play something on this thing. of tune again. Oh well. We're actually going to start a new thing here on the show. It's the interview portion. I'm going to start that in just a couple minutes. But before we do that, before I interview my interviewee, I'll try to be the Charlie Rose of Tom's Guitar Show. But anyway, before I do that, I just wanted to tell you that this guitar here is a Guild, how you say in your country, a Guild Bluesbird. And there's a long story behind this guitar, not very interesting to me. I've been meaning to get this guitar for some time, and finally got it. Finally got one. It was a long odyssey, taking over months. But I traded things, I sold things, I scraped up money, and now I am a proud owner of a Guild Bluesbird. The thing about this is it's kind of like a copy of a Les Paul, except it's a little bit bigger. And a lot of the inside's been scooped out, as in it has big hollow spots. Now, like it's no mystery to anybody ever watching my show how I feel about hollow body electric guitars. I like a little air in there to act as a resonating chamber. It gives you a little bit of extra mellowness. I have a very thin hollow body guitar with me, a semi-hollow, which is another. No, sorry, man, I don't. I lied. I was going to bring that. I brought the totally solid one. Okay, I have a collection of everything from a big fat hollow body guitar to a large but shallow hollow body guitar to semi-hollow body guitars to guitars with one little F hole and a kind of an open spot in it to this thing, which has actually just hollow bits on the inside, little airspace but no hole to, so it gives it a little bit more of a mellow sound, a little bit more depth in the tone. And I'll get into this later. At the moment, I want to introduce my guest. And Bob, do you have anything for the segment?
While you travel to Studio B, I was thinking perhaps we should contemplate a great philosophical question that was brought up in an old song back in the 60s. If tin whistles are made of tin, what do they use to make foghorns?
That's an interesting question. That's very good, yeah. That's a good one. Bob, I'm going to think about that. I probably won't sleep at all tonight, but anyway. Okay, well, I'm in Studio B now, so hey, hello everybody.
Hello.
It's my guest, Abram.
Hello everyone.
Abram Nothnagel, he's actually my son.
Yep.
And he was a guest on my show many years ago, and before we get into the exciting aspects of his lifestyle and everything, I will just say that this show is as old as he is, because when my show that I was in California closed tragically, a few months before you were born, I was looking for something. I came back to Iowa, broke, because I was unemployed and homeless in California again, and so I came back and I had to do something with myself because I had been working 7 days a week in theater. Well, 6, I exaggerate. And I worried about it. On the 7th day, I worried about theater.
Yeah.
But so I came here and started this show, and that was 23 years ago this summer.
Okay.
So you, I know, are 22 because I remember you being born. I was there. So anyway, well, tell us about yourself. What are you doing with yourself now?
So I'm a recent graduate from the University of Iowa. I graduated with a degree in electrical engineering and a second degree in applied physics. I now run a small company called Nothro Systems. We are a power electronics company that designs power electronics and control systems for things like vertical farming, hydroponics, aeroponics. We actually have a couple clients in that industry. We also make high-powered motor controllers useful in collegiate robotics, where you have to have a lot more power than other competitions and other kinds of electronics. So we really focus on those niche markets that larger companies may have overlooked.
Okay. Yeah, switchers and things. Okay. So you actually graduated on Saturday, and this is Tuesday. So
Right.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 3 days ago. And but you.
So my ceremony for graduation, I actually walked on Sunday, And then ever since then...
Sunday. That's right. It was
yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They have graduation both Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, so it's 2 days. Okay.
Yeah. And so ever since then, I've been working full time. Didn't really get any time to take off there. Just went straight into working because have a couple clients who have some deadlines coming up pretty soon. So we got to make sure to hit that hard and
Hit those.
be able to make products for them. Because one of the things that we do is we partner with startups to help them develop the products that they need to develop. We can handle the electrical end of things. So we're working with some companies right now to do that. So I didn't really have any time to take off after graduation. I had to go straight into full-time work, but it's really fun. Actually, really enjoying it.
Okay, good. That's good. Oh, well, I mean, I think taking time off, I mean, like, you know, I don't know. As I say, I took vacations in 1990 and 91.
Yeah.
For those two for like a week in August of 90 and 91. And I bet even our cameraman can't even remember back that far. 1990 and 91.
Wasn't around.
See? Yeah, you're about his age, probably just slightly older, right? Right,
A year older.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should know better by now. I'm sorry, I'm starting. Yeah, okay. Hey, Keaton, could you do me a favor, just hand me like one of those cases, like like that one? Yeah, bring it on over. You're a fairly photogenic fellow, so I just wanted to.
That thing must be horribly out of tune at this point.
Yeah, I just want to see what's in here. We haven't looked at this. You're going through a change in life, and so you're basically giving this back, is what my understanding is.
You live in the same town. I can come over and play if you
Yeah, we can.
get the
You can
urge
do better
to
than this.
practice
Ah,
again.
yeah, this one. It's actually not that bad. Yeah, I gave this guitar to you 100 years ago. It's yeah. I actually kind of like it.
I used to play music. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Lost that skill somewhere along the road to electrical engineering, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I'll get hanging in one of my offices someplace, but I'm not. So the thing is, I remember when you were a kid, though, when you were like a little, when you went from 9th grade to 10th grade, or 8th grade to 9th grade. That's right. When you went from junior high to high school, you took me aside and you said you wanted to quit orchestra in
Yeah.
favor of more math and science.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what we could do is we could pull you out of school, so you'd be a dropout. We'll get like an old school bus, and we'll travel around the country doing country music.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that.
But we decided not to do that, right?
Yeah.
You just do what you follow your own ambitions. So, okay.
I do like math and science.
That's fine. If you want to do math and science, man, who am I to stand in
Is
your
that
way?
what adolescent rebellion looks like these days?
Yeah.
That's what.
When your father's a musician, you gotta rebel in some way.
But I like
Clearly, math and science is how you do that.
Yeah. Nice. That's nice. I like this. We'll take it. Well, I'll fix this up and hang it on the wall someplace. I supposed to have another office to decorate with instruments in the fall, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
I got another job. So, Keaton, could you hand me the other one, just since we're in the neighborhood? This is so exciting to me. Thank you. I hate to. I mean,
No problem. Want
No,
me to
I-
take this one away?
yeah, sure. Go ahead, please. I don't want you to feel servile. I know you're.
Back when I was doing orchestra all those years ago, I was bassist.
Yeah.
So didn't exactly play this instrument, but one very much like it.
Well, you actually played this instrument on this show.
Yeah.
And there were times when you used to play this. If this is what I think it is, this is a, This is a Squier, which is the Fender import. This is Fender Jazz. This is actually not a bad bass. It's not a great bass, but
Ooh. It's really out of tune.
yeah, it's more authentic this way.
So I was cleaning out my old room and I found these back up against the window, which means that they had been under the sun for who knows how many years. And instruments don't do very well when they're put under extreme heat for that long.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they seem to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they just played a lot of tune and funky, like some teenage fingerprints on them. But okay, well, yeah. So you got your company, North Source Systems,
Yep.
and what kind of clients are you looking for? Just out of curiosity.
so we're looking for startups who are developing products, specifically startups who need help or somebody to manufacture their electrical components. So we both do design and manufacturing of electronics, specifically power electronics, so control boards, things that are compatible with microcontrollers like Arduinos, 18 megas, Raspberry Pis. We can do a lot of control systems with that. So, for example, say you have a vertical farm and you need to control the flow of water to some crops or something like that. You have to control water pumps. So we can create systems that will control those water pumps off of a microcontroller, something that's programmable, a timed, something like that. But we also do a lot of other power electronics, because power electronics tend to be very similar across different industries. So basically, if you are a startup, you're looking to create a product that needs electronics, and you would like somebody to either manufacture those electronics or to help you to develop those electronics, that's what my company does, and we can help you with that. It's pretty easy to find us. The name was up there earlier, Nothsor Systems. You can find us on the internet, just Google Nothsor. You can find our contact information there. Just shoot us an email, a phone call, something like that. We could work with you, make sure to help you get your products made.
Okay. Hope we didn't violate any bylaws. So,
To be fair, I'm the one advertising, not you, so
yeah, okay.
it's not your fault, right? Right?
Yeah, it's not. Okay, well, that's been very exciting. So,
Just like the big guys, when a guest comes on, we let them plug whatever they're selling.
Yeah.
that's right. We can't mention prices, though, or any individual promotions.
Fair enough.
Well, you're my first, so congratulations being the
Thank you
first.
very much.
And,
Appreciate it.
And your graduation and everything, the long nightmare is over.
Yes, it is. Very glad to be out.
Yeah. School. This guy, he did it, right? You graduated last year, didn't you? No, you graduated
December.
in December. Yeah.
How does it feel?
Good.
Yeah, see?
Feels good.
See? Yeah,
That's very good.
All these young guys around. What do you think, Bob? Huh? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember back then.
Yeah, I remember back in the olden days. Anyway, all right, okay. Well, that's great. Well, I'll see you. I mean, I guess you can go off and do whatever you got to do. Here, yeah, put that over there or something. I'll see you later. Maybe we should put the camera on Bob now, and Bob can tell us something else. Cause I don't want to like leave the. I don't want. I mean, I don't want
I'm
to.
going to turn your back to the camera.
I'm going to do that anyway when I pick up the guitar. There's Bob. Okay, Bob. Anything for us?
Oh, well, another question in the same vein. If people have solved the one I asked first, can you fix a cracked brass instrument with tube glue?
Ah, triple glue. Oh man. I gotta pretend I didn't hear that. Okay, that's all right. Yeah. So that's fine then. Well, this is our going to be our new regime, of course. Abram there was our test pilot, which I think sounds so much better than guinea pig. He first. That's what they say in comments, right? Say first. But anyway, of course, there was a young fella here last week, a young second grade classical guitarist who played us a tune, but that's different. So I would like to interview people, anybody, I mean, I'm shooting for interviewing the mayor.
Well, while we're doing plugs, we probably should mention where people can see you.
Well, this weekend I'll be at the Tuscan Moon on both Friday and Saturday night, starting shortly after 6, most likely. Beautiful downtown Kelowna. Make reservations. Places has been packed lately. Of course, it might be rainier and cooler this weekend. I'm also playing a private garden party for 2 couples. Somewhere in the vicinity of University Heights, I believe, on Saturday, earlier in the day. So I'll be busy. We'll play a lot of guitar this weekend. But Tuscan Moon Friday, Saturday night, and I thought Abram may go to lunch there maybe this week, or we could try. So anyway, but yeah, that's where I'll be. But anyway, yeah. So see you later. Stay in touch, man. Number one, the sun is leaving. So. But what I'm saying is that I'm going to try to do a thing here on the show where we have a regular, every week we interview somebody. Gee whiz, Bob, and nobody else shows up, maybe I can interview you. So, of course, you have to, we won't be able to use you as our segue guy. We go from Studio A to Studio B. But anyway. And also I wanted to announce that we're working on underwriters for the show, a new program with that in mind, to get people to actually underwrite this program. I've got some. I think I have a commitment from one company, small company, that's going to underwrite the show, and I'd like to welcome others. Ideally, I could have several, And for this, they get a little plug, at the beginning and the end of the show, and they just like on public radio and public television. This is made possible for a generous grant from. So
Since PATV's funding is going to wither away here in a couple of years.
Less than a couple, yeah. Probably a little less than a year.
When is the contract up? Do we know?
I think the contract's up actually next summer, 2018. But I think we're basically okay until the autumn of 2018. So this being the spring of 2017, we have a little less than a year and a half, or something like that. So we'll see. We have to become self-sustainable. That's the idea.
Yeah, we should probably mention that right now PATV is funded by a surcharge on cable in Iowa City.
Right.
And that's going away.
Right. They're going to a state franchise. The law was changed some years ago, and it's Mediacom in the city and their contract and all this stuff. People, when you subscribe to a cable television station, you subscribe to get a certain number of channels.
Right.
And of course, to some people's chagrin, they can't actually choose the exact channels you want. You get a package, and part of your package is local television, and which is PATV is local television, and so
and those cubic zirconia channels.
that's right, and and maybe you don't want to buy cubic zirconia.
Well, I think they pay to be there.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you pay for maybe the channel pays to be there, but you pay cable TV.
You pay to have the cable run into your house.
Yeah. So anyway, one way or the other. But I mean, there are other channels you might not favor,
Right.
and of course, times, as a poet says, times they are changing.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to turn into a somewhat different kind of organization. So my goal is to get certain underwriters, and when I have a company, I hope I'll be able to announce it. Actually, have it in place working next week on the show. I'm hoping there's a marketing department involved and all kinds of stuff going on, but I'm hoping it'll be all what the French would call a fait accompli, or a feat that's been accomplished, basically, next week. And then we'll have a promo for them at the beginning and the end, or just like an acknowledgement of their generous support.
Right.
And I'd also say that I'm going to try to get maybe a couple other businesses to support my show, and maybe private individuals. And I see no reason why somebody couldn't just support one show, just sponsor one show, one Tom's Guitar Show, as a one-off. I mean, I don't know, we're talking small money, $20 or something like that. Yeah. And just hoping at the end of the year it adds up. And of course the money doesn't come to me. And Bob, I'm willing to double your salary every year. Yeah, so double it
For
again.
a worthy cause like that, I'm sure they're out there digging out their checkbooks.
That's right. Well, yeah, actually. So as you may know, Bob, I actually don't pay Bob, and I don't get paid for this show either. I'm doing it for the lols. I don't know. Why am I doing this, Bob? Do you know?
Why not?
Yeah, that's it. Why not? All right. So that's my new my new trick around here. I want to do have a self-sustaining show and sustain the TV station. And remember, anybody can, without too much difficulty, anybody can do a show here. What I thought, when I started many years ago, was I didn't really like what was on TV, and so you can react any way you want. I mean, I didn't really like the way MTV turned out to be. I had high hopes for it, but then it did, and I really don't know what it turned into now. With the belief, and I seldom use air quotes, reality TV that they do, but so I decided to do my own show about guitars, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. Guitar players, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing for all these years. And
this is the Viewers Network. If people want to make their own show, PATV will teach them how.
Exactly. And one other thing I noticed was that after I started making TV shows, and I did a lot of production stuff before this. I've just been doing this show for a long time, but in the old days, I used to do a lot of stuff and help out with a lot of different things. I had a lot of experiences, and one thing is I became much more savvy about things, like how things are produced. So I could watch a TV show and realize they've only got one camera. They're only using one camera on this show. You know, so doing this scene with this camera angle, doing this scene with this camera angle, so not changing. And I learned things about it. Also, like something about television loses a certain amount of mystique. And this is not the same as like making movies with your phone. It's we have here we're a studio with 3 cameras and lights and sound and Bob, and and this wonderful, of course, high-tech studio, with this wonderful backdrop here. See, with the lights and things and the invisible floor. So this is all. I mean, this is all. This really changes one's perspective. So I think it's media literacy, if nothing else, is very useful here. So this is very different from just making a phone, a movie with your phone.
Like Desi Arnaz, who was one of the founders of reruns, was also one of the pioneers of the 3-camera setup.
Really? Ah.
Yeah. He and Hopalong Cassidy invented reruns.
Oh, good. Well, that's how. It's more economical that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm in love with this guild. I think that sounds pretty good. Has a fullness and richness. 2 Seymour Duncan pickups, as I said earlier, if anybody was watching, it's not exactly semi-hollow, but it has open spaces. They scooped out a lot of wood on the inside. There's no hole, like an F-hole or anything, to open it up, but it's just like this, also makes it lighter than it would be. Not that heavy a guitar. It sounds great, so what am I going to do? I'm going to switch over to something else. Now that I finally got it to stay in tune, I got to try something else. Okay, how about, turn off the volume, and, yeah, I see my loop station is running out of juice there. Let's see, so that was fun, and then, all right, this guitar is not new. There's a long, very boring story that almost nobody would care about when I got this. I was actually on the show years ago when the LA Classical Guitar Quartet was playing at the Performing Arts Center in Coralville, back when it was new. And I had to hightail it from this show to there in order to to catch that show. Well, anyway, so yeah. So I borrowed this guitar from Musicians Pro Shop, and it was used. They were a DBZ dealer now. It's a long story. DBZ is now known as Diamond Guitars, and it was DBZ, then DBZ Diamond, now it's Diamond Guitars. Dean B. Zielinski has moved on with his life. First he had Dean Guitars, and I heard he got muscled out of that. So Dean does not work for Dean Guitars anymore. And then it was DBZ, with Dean B. Zielinski, DBZ, which is what this is. It has a little metal DBZ thing on the top, his medallion. And then he got forced out of there. And then he ended up working for, starting his own thing, which is Dean Zielinski Select. But DBZ has turned into Diamond Guitars, and they're really hard to get now because they don't have a very functional marketing department. But I do have this is a DBZ Imperial. So I have a Diamond Imperial, which is semi-hollow, which is why it was some earlier confusion. Exactly the same shape, different pickups. But that one is semi-hollow. It's a very thin hollow body guitar. And I think it's Dean Zielinski's design, actually. But this one is extremely thin. But and it's laminated with several layers of very thin, very hard wood. And it's like an axe handle. It sings. It's really, really dense wood and very, very hard, but very, very thin. So not very deep at all. And it's actually guitar. So I got the Diamond Imperial, same guitar, Seymour Duncan pickup, similar to the ones that I have on the Guild, actually. And this one was, I thought was extraneous. So I hung it up at the Musician's Pro Shop, and as you probably know, Bob, I do go to guitar shops fairly often.
Guitar shops, pawn shops.
Yeah, I hang around those places. So. I mean, some people hang around bars and things. I just, hang around guitar shops. You know what my issue is.
Well, no hangover then.
Yeah, no hangover, but I do have a lot of guitars. I've been restringing them and lemon oiling fingerboards and things like that. And now I got these other 2 guitars back from my son. I guess I'm going to have to do something with them, probably fix them up a little bit. So anyways, this was hanging there. I'm going to yawn, I'm sorry. This was hanging on the wall at the pro shop for quite a few weeks. And he said, give me a sign. Well, half an hour? Yeah, okay. Anyway, and everybody wants to touch it because it's so cool. So it was all covered with fingerprints. I didn't like the condition of the strings. So it was consignment, so last week or so, I took it back. I said, I'm taking it home. So I took it home, and, I shined it all up and lemon oiled and scrubbed the fingerboard. And I go to a lot of guitar shops. I hang around, especially the Guitar Center up in Cedar Rapids. And I'm convinced people go to the all-you-can-eat chicken wing, special, and then go to the guitar shop and don't wash your hands. Now, I might have mentioned before, I have actually relatively good personal hygiene for a guitarist, but I'm more like a classical guitarist, so we tend to be cleaner, And so anyway, so it was, people with greasy fingers,
Yes.
They don't respect the instruments. So anyway, so I cleaned it all up, and I was thinking, so I'm going to keep this guitar. It's probably worth more to me than, the money I might get out of it someday, because it was hanging up there for a long time, and anybody wanted to buy it, it's too late. It's mine now. And I do like my Diamond Imperial, but this one sounds like... have you know that I have an old loop station, RC2, a Boss RC2 on the floor, and it runs with a 9-volt battery or a power supply. It's one of the few, well, it's a looper that I have that has a power supply. But one thing is that there's a light that says check on it. Not somebody from the country right next to Slovakia, where Bohemia now resides. But
And unlike the check engine light in your car,
yeah, it doesn't come on when you're in trouble. It goes off when you're starting to get in trouble. So at any moment, I could run out of juice. I do have a spare battery, and I have Bob here to help me out if the worst comes to worst. He can get it. But it's almost invisible now. See, I wanted because of all this excitement and all this stuff I've been doing lately and all this. I decided not to bring anything except one battery-powered looper and a simple tube amp with me, because I have all kinds of electronic spaghetti strewn across the floor in my music room. That's what they call it when you have cables all over the floor, called spaghetti. And so rather than bring like the whole big pedal array that I was thinking about, I decided to just, bring my Vox AC10. Everyone knows the famous Vox AC15. The AC10 has fewer knobs on it and less power. Still plenty loud, I think. We don't really have it turned up very loud.
for a room this size.
Yeah, it's not even turned up very loud at all right now. But and I don't ever play that loud anyway. And if I do want to play loud, I got a loud amp. But anyway, so I mean, all we have is a little bit of reverb on the Vox AC10, an elderly loop station, which is a Boss RC2. They don't make them anymore, and an elderly, rather elderly battery in it. So at any moment, things should start going, and then I'll be in trouble. But then, anyway, okay. That way it wasn't very exciting, was it? All right. Well, since I've come this far, I do like this guitar. I think it's quite lovely, actually. I have no real need for it. But, how many, the question is like, how many guitars do you need?
Yeah.
How many can you get? That's my anyway, bad answer, right? Yeah.
My wife is a quilter, and I often ask her that about fabric.
Yeah.
How much fabric do you need? Mm-hmm. And she said, whoever dies with the most fabric wins.
Ah, there we go. Pardon me for showing my back on TV, but if we're out of town, people would say, "Oh, I'm glad to see your back." I actually saw that there's a bumper sticker. There's this guy. He used to live like a couple doors down from somebody I knew, and he had all kinds of stuff like camper and he had a motorboat on a trailer and a bunch of other stuff, jet skis and things. But the bumper sticker on the boat trailer said, "He who dies with the most toys wins." I get you. His wife probably bought him that, but
yeah,
as an insult. This might be in tune. Who knows? All right. Speaking of history and so forth, so okay, this is a G&L ASAT special. Beef up the treble a little bit. So, and I don't know about this. Oh, it's making noises. Yeah. I can imagine making noises if I pull out the coil splitter, but... Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll turn up the treble. Well, all right. Okay, this is a G&L ASAT, what does it say? Deluxe. And so this is the story I heard about this. I've had this guitar for years now. And as you may know about G&L, that Leo Fender, the story I heard about Leo Fender is, I know he sold his company, but the reason he sold his company, the story I heard was that he thought he was going to die or something. We're all going to die, but he thought he was going to die imminently. And so he sold his company to CBS, which is a huge company that made, on broadcasting, but they made radios and all kinds of electronic stuff. And there's the there's There's a pre-war, what they call pre-war, which is like actually before the Vietnam War, Fender guitars, and then the ones after CBS bought them out. So this is a post, post CBS. Leo Fender worked for Music Man for a while, and then he and George, George, what's his name? Anyway, George and Leo, G&L, George and Leo Guitars, was founded many years ago. And of course, George and Leo both died eventually. They were old men. And this is his company. So this is apparently a design he had in a drawer somewhere at G&L. The old man had designed this guitar, which is slightly different from Telecasters. It's slightly contoured, curved a little bit like a Les Paul is, and scooped out in the back a little bit like a Stratocaster is. So it's supposed to be more comfortable on your body. And it has 2 humbuckers instead of the 2 single coil pickups. And so anyway, I had the thing for a while. I've been calling this one Cherry Baby. And I've often thought of selling it to make room for something else, but I do rather like it. I think it's kind of... Little noises. It shouldn't make these noises.
Maybe it's picking it up. Something in the room.
Actually, when I'm on this pickup, I don't hear anything. I hear it. Zzz, zzz, zzz. When I watch this on YouTube at night, sometimes, this show, painful thing to have to do. I haven't, I noticed that sometimes like the little hums and buzzes are really hard to hear on TV, or on my computer anyway at home.
Yeah, you're standing there in front of the amplifier, so you hear a lot of things nobody else does.
Yeah. So the other thing is like I know other people aren't bothered by this, but they play. Well, some guitar players, their hearing's all blown out anyway. And I'm gonna switch my guitars back in, but the hearing's all blown out, and they can't hear it anyway. Or if they could, if they're playing in a bar, and everybody's talking and making noise and stuff, and you're not going to hear that. It says you have so I have a great big amp turned up real loud, and if it buzzes and hums, who cares? You're not going to hear it. That it's drowned out. But I like to play at low volumes, and I think I'm going back to the guild. I think basically maybe nature wants me to just be a classical guitarist. And not, because the joke, which is also a bluegrass joke, but the joke is how many classical guitarists it takes to screw in a light bulb? None. They won't touch anything electric, things like that. So there's this thing, and I've wrestled with this all my life because that's really the most beautiful music, I think, is like classical guitar music. But if you want to play for anybody else, they fall asleep. Anyway. So.
I read one time that Bill Monroe had no idea what bluegrass music meant and didn't know why anybody called it that.
Yeah, well. Yeah, well, other people put names in these things.
Yeah.
You know that Beethoven, to him, he didn't write the Moonlight Sonata. It was like sonata, number whatever, an E flat or whatever it was. And his buddies gave it that name. Or sometimes critics give it something, a nickname, and that's what we all know it by. But they just got to give it a number or something. That's why people ask me to give, because I make up music, I write music, and people ask me to give it a name, and I come up with really stupid things. And I was thinking about that actually because I have some pieces and I want to give them names. And I thought one name would be "The Truth is Whatever You Want to Believe." See, which of course is not true, but it's something. It's a commentary.
But an awful lot of people think that way.
They think that way. Well, you have your truth, and I have.
People are wrong.
A lot of people are wrong. Yeah. You have your truth, and I have mine. I say the sun goes around the earth, and you say the earth goes around the sun. But I have my truth, and you have yours. So
Two kinds of people: those that agree with me and those that are wrong.
that's right. Exactly. I think that's in tune. Who knows?
If I want your version, I'll give it to you.
That's right. Okay.
And everyone knows the universe revolves around me.
That's right. Well, that's which reminds me of that one of the soprano jokes. I mean, singers, that.
How many sopranos change the light bulb?
Only one. She holds the bulb, and the world revolves around her. That's one of the clean ones we can tell on Tom's Guitar Show. This is a family program. We know that.
Yeah, well, we're talking about naming music. You remember the story I told in here one night about naming a song that we can't repeat on a family show?
Yeah. The punchline I always do for that joke is, "I love you like hogs love slop," which
Which you can say on a family show.
that's right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good because and it's also kind of like Iowa thing, like I call a tuning fork a pitchfork because it has a pitch, A440, but it's an Iowa joke. And decided to put on the overalls and be a native, but I think that the thing about the
Iowans call sushi bars bait shops.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, we like to keep it clean though. It's a family program, so anyway. But yeah, I love you like hogs love slop. I was at I was at a Sambo's many, many years ago when they used to have a Sambo's. I think it's a Village Inn now. I don't know if it's the same company, but it's a Village Inn. And they used to be called Sambo's.
Yeah, I know they used to have one of those in Macomb, but I don't think they have any of them anywhere now.
No, I think Sambo's is long gone. But the Village Inn is in the same place.
Yeah.
The one on Highway 6 and Riverside Drive down there, 16 to 18, whatever that intersection. But I was sitting there, and they had this extra room they opened up. It was after 2 o'clock in the morning when the bars empty out. And above all the din of people, at the 2 in the morning rush, some guy yells, "I love you like hogs love slop." And there was this moment of silence. And then all of a sudden everybody laughed. And that was a long time. That's back in the old days when there was a Sambo's. So, it still sticks with me. So maybe that would be a good piece. So I could write some little, like you see, what do you call that? I love you like hogs love slop. Played number 37 in E major, or
I think I Love You Like Hogs Love Slop is more likely to get radio play than number 37 in E major.
yeah, of course. Anyway, so if you do want to be a sponsor of Tom's Guitar Show, the money wouldn't go to me, and it wouldn't go to Bob. It would go to PATV for its survival. And we have generated forms and everything like that. We're going to try to figure this out. We're going to try to get underwriters for the TV station and individual shows. So even if you wanted to underwrite one show, and little people are coming. Oh, look at that. And and then so just let me know if you see me at the Hy-Vee or something. You want to underwrite Tom's Guitar Show or something else. Let me know. And if you want to hear me Tuscan Moon, Friday, Saturday night, beautiful downtown Kelowna, Iowa, about 20 miles south. And I'll be there. And 6 o'clock, 6:30, something like that. Make reservations. And I'll be back next week. I always come back.